Dun 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 dun. All right, I don't know if I did that little jingle justice, but if you kind of got it, today's theme is hockey, and we're going to be building a really cool hockey card display cabinet. I got some really cool ideas, and I want to bring them to light today for you guys. So let's do it. Let's build it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do on our hockey card cabinet is we're going to be building the toe kick. I'm going to build the toe kick in two pieces. I'm going to make it the bottom piece a 1/2 inch thick, and then I'm going to raise it up slightly with a 1/4 inch. So I can paint the two different colors, and it's going to give a really nice contrast to the cabinet. First we're going to do the toe kick, and then we're going to move up and we'll do the height of the cabinet, and then we'll build off of that. So let's do it. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to give it a little bit of a router around 3 edges. I don't need to do the back because it's going up against the wall. I'm going to be using this style of cove bit, and it'll give it a really nice, cool looking furniture look to it. Okay, so we got the bottom part of our cabinet, which is the toe kick, already cut out, and I did it in two pieces like I was saying earlier. This is the 1/4 inch piece, and I actually did a small little round over with the router. And then the bottom one, which is a 1/2 inch, and I did that cove that I was showing you earlier. And then I actually have to take the top part of the box and build it up a little bit because we want to put a light in here, and I want to have room for wiring and stuff like that so that we can put some lights in it. So what I want to work on next here is I want to work on the top portion of our cabinet. So I want to put these sides on because I want to raise it up a little bit, so I put lights in here. I have room for wires and the light box itself and anything else, so it's going to create a little bit of a box inside of a box, you might say, and I want it serviceable. I want to be able to take the top part off so that we can get at wires and stuff. If the bulbs burn out or if something breaks, we can always fix it. Okay, we got our strips on, and I left a little bit of a gap between this one for wires to come through for our lights and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of how it looks. It's very, very easy, very basic. We cut all our side pieces, and this is how they're gonna fit together. They're gonna go, the two miters are gonna go together. I'm gonna bring this closer to the camera so you can see it. We have these are about 2 1/4 wide. And then the miters just go together, and that gives us a nice corner. So that's going to be our corner part of our cabinet. And then later on we can add holes for adjustable shelves and stuff. So then we need to put our sides on like that. So I'll nail it to the bottom first, and then I'll flip it upside down and then nail it to the top so that we have it all put together. Okay, now that we got our sides on and our top and bottom on, this is starting to look more like a cabinet. This is really cool. You can kind of see how it's taking shape. It's just like living in a box. Cool. Okay, so let's start putting sides on, and I can show you how this is going to get trimmed out, and we'll just keep going. All right, we cut out a lot of pieces on our cabinet already. What I want to do is a little bit of CNC work. I want to create a nice little top on the cabinet, kind of like a crown, but I'm going to incorporate the NHL logo so that it'll really bring the cabinet into more of a theme style build. Okay, so now that we got our sides on, we're going to put our fronts and our backs on, and this is what I did here is I cut this piece so it fits nice and tight, and it's a little bit wider, and there's a reason for that. It's because of this here. I wanted to make sure that this, when we put this on the crest, that we have kind of similar distances all the way around. So yeah, let's put that on. Give her some glue. We want to go, yes, on the top. And put her right in there. There we go. Leave the glue squish out, that's fine. It's nice when it fits tight, because in that way it can be, kind of holds it for you while you're putting it in. And we'll go to this side, tap it down, it's flush. Whoop, it moved a little bit. There we go. Let's wipe the glue off. We'll sand it out really good too, so. And this might have a little bit of a bow. Mine has a little bit of a bow in it, so that's fine. It's just got a bit of a sag, so what we'll do is we'll lift it to the same height. And that should get our sag out. And we can kind of put one in on an angle just to hold it from moving, because it is quite wide. It might move in and out till the glue sets. And I'm going to give that a bit of a sand right now while the glue is still wet. Stick a couple nails in the corner. It's starting to come out a bit. I am using MDF light, and it's really nice for something small like this. It kind of takes away the weight of the cabinet, but I find the MDF light, the nails don't want to stick as good, but it's still pretty good. There we go. Some glue on there. All right, I went ahead and I cut the piece for the back, I cut one for the bottom, and I cut one for the very top here, and that's what's gonna cover up all our wiring and stuff when our lights go in. So yeah, this is kind of how it's turning out. I'm pretty pleased. It looks pretty good. So what I want to do next is I want to cut out something that looks like hockey boards, like on the sides of the hockey rink, so we can display our cards in front of that, and I want to put them on top of the board, so it kind of doubles our capacity of hockey card display. So yeah, we'll work on that probably in the next little bit, and we'll make it look like it's a little mini hockey rink inside here. So I went and I CNC'd these little pieces here, and they have a bit of an arc to them, and this is what I want to achieve. I want to make them look like hockey boards around the hockey rink, and then what we're going to do is we're going to either paint it and then decal it and make it look like this is the inside of a hockey rink. So the material I want to show you, and this is the material I use in the front. Now you can use a lot of different things. Some people use just a very thin piece of MDF, but I found I couldn't curve it very well. This is too tight of a radius. So what I did get is, this is called curve core, or kind of a bendable plywood. There's many different names for it, but curve core is one of the names that I know that it's called. And basically you can bend it and shape it. It does crack a little, dries a little bit, but don't worry about it. It'll still bend and form your arcs around. So that's the next thing we're going to build. We're going to make small little boards, and then our hockey cards can either prop up against the boards or they can go in front in those little plastic containers, and then you can put them on top as well. So it actually brings it up. You can double your capacity of cards and bring these up so that you can see them a lot better. So I'm going to build 2 of these for our cabinet, and yeah, so let's start building that. I cut our back piece. I'm going to put my back piece on first, and it's the same width as our curvy stuff. So let me grab my nailer. I'm using a 23 gauge nailer. You can use an 18 gauge. It's a little more common. Either is fine. I just find the nails are a little smaller and it's easier to fill holes when you go to paint. Here's why I like the smaller gauge. This one's probably the hardest part, putting this top piece on. Once you get the first couple nails in, then it goes easier just to flush it out. The glue makes it want to move. Almost lost it there for a second. So I want to make sure these are the same. It does make a difference if you flip them. They're just a little bit, just one's set up a little bit nicer than the other one. Yeah, it goes better this way. Flip this over. That's where you need like octopus arms. Dr. Octopus. Flush it out to the top and the bottom. Okay. So now this will give it a lot more structure once we put this guy in. And I just go over the top. It's okay to go over because we can trim it afterwards. It's a lot easier to do that. And this curve core moves so nice that it actually bends in that little radius really good. Again, once you get it started, it's a lot simpler. Oh, what the hell? Something's wrong with my air compressor. See if it's running. It's not going. Must be the breaker. Nope. My compressor getting so old. We'll leave it build up. Okay, so we'll put the ends on. What I did was I 45'd that. You can see it there. I 45 this little piece of MDF. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick, and then it goes nice and tight into the corner that way. And I'll just trim it to length. There, it's looking good. There we go. I'll just break these nails off. I went through, it's not a big deal because we're gonna fill all the holes anyways. Holds it better. Yeah, break. There we go. So there is our end. Now we're going to trim this little piece and then just sand it kind of flat. That's all a guy kind of needs. So there we go. Just going to cut this off. I'm just going to use a little hand saw, a little coping saw. It just makes it easier. Trying to put it in the miter saw, but it's a little tough. There we go. That was kind of a chore. So we can either leave it like that, but I'm going to sand it flat. Okay, we got our cabinet painted. I just put it on its back for now because I want to glue our logo in right now. So this is how it turned out. I wanted to go with the traditional style, kind of a goldy, orange, ambery color. And it really looks nice against the black. It really pops, so that's really cool. So our first task is to glue this down. Now the concern is that this is a very small emblem and it has very small edges. It's very skinny. So we got to glue the back and I don't want the glue to ooze out. So that's our real concern there. And what I use all the time, if you've been watching my channel, I use this a lot. It's the 2P10 and it glues awesome. It is like, once it sticks, you got a few minutes to work with it, and then after that, she sticks really good. So I got a really, really small layer on there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just almost like little bubbles on there, and it's sticking to me already. Wow, this stuff sticks so good. You gotta watch, it sticks to fingers really, really good. And now we're gonna place it right where it needs to go. And I don't want to have to move it too much. And I got to be careful not to get glue on my hands and then push it onto the paint because it'll take the paint off. And we don't want that at all. There we go. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. You do have a few minutes to work with it, so it's not like crazy. If you use the adhesive part where you spray, then you got seconds. But we don't want to use that on paint. I use it a lot on wood surfaces, things that don't take the paint off. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Just moved it a little bit. Okay, we don't want to touch it now. We want to leave it set up. So now we got our letters, and they are a little thicker. So I want to place them, make sure we get the order right. That would really suck. I'm gonna dab some glue. I'm just gonna tap it, and I just want little bubbles to come out almost. So you don't need much glue, and they're very light. I cut the letters and this part out of 1/8 inch thick MDF. And again, you only got kind of one shot at the whole thing, which is the problem. And if you smear it, it wrecks the paint, and then you got a whole heap of problems. So be very patient, take your time, don't be in a rush. Enjoy the whole process, and it'll work much better. So we're at the toe kick now, and I did the toe kick in two different pieces. I did this one, which is a 1/4, and I placed it right on top, and I put glue on there already. I didn't put a lot of glue on, I just wanted to help hold it. And then I will actually just screw it to the bottom of the cabinet. And I did two different colors, so it kind of matches a little bit better, it breaks it up a little bit, and it kind of gives a nicer look. So the top part is a 1/4 inch thick, and then the second part's 1/2 inch thick, and I routed the edge earlier before we painted, and that gives it kind of a more furniture look. Okay, we got everything going here, and now what I'm going to do is I've got these decals made up, and these are going to be the decals for our hockey boards. So here's our boards. And I already cut one out of the page here that I had printed out. So I went to a local decal shop and had these. You can kind of see how that's gonna look. Now the biggest thing is what I gotta try and do is I gotta center this. I gotta center this properly on our board so that it will cover and that the lines will be right in the center. Nice, that worked out good. Really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. And we got theme it build in the hockey boards. Nice. We got our next decal, which it looks like a hockey rink. And this will go on the very bottom of our cabinet. So I cut this piece of board and I painted it. I'm gonna go with the painted side up just in case something doesn't cover quite right. At least it'll look like the bottom of our cabinet. So I do this with all my style of cabinets. I make a false bottom. It's easier to paint, you don't get overspray, it's nice and smooth. Plus, you can decal them, and this is why I like doing it. And it's easier to do it here than trying to decal inside the cabinet. And then we just place it inside. And if it gets torn or broke, we can always take it out and fix it and put it back in. So I like to make things very serviceable if I can, you know, so that, because life happens, right? I mean, things break down and you want to be able to fix it. So I kind of have to center this, which I sort of did already. I cut it to size because I want to try and center it with my hockey boards. And that's the trick. That's kind of the whole trick to this whole thing. So I'm just pulling the bottom out and pushing with the side and just getting all the air out as I go, taking it very slowly. Don't be in a panic. There we go. This is awesome. Oh yes, very nice. Me so happy. Sweet. And it even stayed straight, nice and square. That's what I wanted. I wanted it nice and square from end to end so that our lines would line up. Look at that. Cool, that looks awesome. Me so happy. I just got to trim a little bit on the back, or I could just fold it over, which either. I might just try and fold it over. See how that works. If I fold it over, it might stay better. Might not. Try to peel up. Doesn't want to stick. Okay, so let's just trim it. So here we have another decal, and this actually is a crowd of people. And it is a bunch of Canadian fans cheering on hockey, as you can see. And actually, we put our faces in there as well. I'm going to zero in. There is me, and there is Dwight making a funny face. And where's my mom and dad? Right over here. And there's my mom there, and there's my dad. So we put a few people in here that weren't supposed to be, but this will be our backdrop to our display case. Okay, now that we did some decaling here, I would like to start next with, I got this plexiglass and I cut it up in smaller squares, and I want to screw it to the back of our boards, and that's going to actually elevate it for the next shelf to go on top. I got 5 of them to install, and I made them in squares because in a hockey rink they're not all one continuous piece of glass. They are in segments and in squares. So I wanted it to look more authentic, so I cut them up in these little squares. So let's put them on. And there we have it. There is our glass for our hockey rink. It's looking pretty spanky. Okay, now that we've got everything all installed as far as the glass goes, the toe kick's been installed and put on, I screwed it down, the top panel's been put on, the lights have been put in. Now we're gonna do the fun stuff. So we deckled all our parts and pieces, and I'm gonna start with our backdrop. So let's put this in. I'm gonna open up my side. Everything has to go in through the side of the cabinet because it won't fit in through the back. And now that the glass is in, we can't put it through the front. So I'm just going to slide this puppy in. And then I'm going to push it up against the back. There we go. Now it wants to fall forward, so I have these little pins, and these little pins help hold the back shelf on, and it'll help hold this back piece in too. So you could, if you wanted to, and if you're building a cabinet similar to this, you could actually put screws in and hold this piece from kind of coming out, but we got a shelf that goes up against it, everything goes up against it, so I didn't really want to put more screws in it, so it's going to be fine just like that. So now we got one more piece, well, we got a couple more pieces, and we deckled our bottom piece, and it looks like the hockey rink ice. And what I like about it is it's got lots of scratches and skate marks, and it looks kind of cool. Looks like the ice. So let's put it in. Again, we got to slide it in the side. And that'll just drop inside. Perfect. I like it. So now what we got, our first hockey boards. Now, I put the plexiglass on there to hold the shelf up. And you can see earlier, we screwed it all to the back, and I made it all look partitioned so it looks like the boards in the rink. And let's put this one in next. And this one's gonna go right to fairly close to the front of the cabinet. I'm going to bump it up tight to the front. And I have to line the lines up. There we go. Cool. And now we got the shelf. So here's our shelf. And I made this come out too. This is our second part of our hockey board. It looks like the ice again. And I notched these little pieces out so they hook into the back of the cabinet on the pegs. So let's just push that in. It's looking better and better already. And we got one more piece to go, which is our other hockey board. And it goes right in top. So we can push this one back, or we can go in the middle, it really doesn't matter. I'm gonna line that up. Right on. There we go. And there we have our mini hockey rink. I love it. I like it. I'm going to go through my hockey cards to see if I have anything cool I can put in here.
Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name.
All right, we're all done our hockey card display case, and it turned out really cool. I'm very happy with it. It's pretty neat. I was going through some of my hockey cards, and I ran across this one. I'm going to show you guys. This is a Don Cherry Game Gear hockey card. And the funny thing about this Game Gear one is it has Don Cherry's clothing in there, a piece of his material of his clothing. And I got thinking, I'm like, I hope this isn't his underwear I have in my hockey card. You never know with Don Cherry, right? So anyways, I'm going to put this right in the display case for fun for now. So thanks for joining me on my channel. I hope you guys had fun. I hope it was entertaining and informative. I gave you some ideas on how to display your hockey cards and make a real cool display case. So thanks for joining me, and remember, don't just build it, theme it. Thanks, guys.
Theme it, like and subscribe. You don't want to miss an episode. Do it now.
Dun, 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 dun.